Howdy folks, it's Harrison with Mainely Acres Farms. Thank you for tuning in with us today. Let's see what we have going on the craft table this afternoon. Good morning folks, and thank you for joining me on another episode of the crafting table. Today we're going to go over a few things. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys an update on this watch project that I'm working on, and also go over choosing the correct rivet for your leather project, and just to kind of go over how rivets work in general when it comes down to putting your two pieces of leather together. So let's go ahead and go on with the update. As you guys can see, I've pretty much put the watch and watch strap back together. So I went ahead and restored the leather using the oil in the oven technique, which you guys can check out right here if you haven't seen that. And I've gone ahead and sewn the full patch here on the back. And that's just a piece of extra thread that was on my sewing table. But there we go, you guys can see the patch is on there. I went ahead and punched all the holes so it matches the top of the strap there. And I'll unfold this and just show you guys that it was a full patch that I put on. You guys can also see that I made a little keeper to go on here, and the reason why I did that on this project is because this is the old keeper that came off, and as you guys can see right here, there was a really nasty either dry crack or somewhere where he accidentally rubbed up against something and it gashed the leather. But that gash pretty much goes all the way through, and even though I was able to get this, you know, flexible and pliable again, and I don't think it's going to break, eventually it will wear thin and come apart. So I went ahead and replaced the keeper on here. And most of the times when you remove your keeper off of like a belt or a watch strap like so, you'll see that they're kind of met on edge like so, and then they put a brad with two little spikes on either side and hammer that in, and that's what really secures and keeps your keeper together. I'm not really a huge fan of that. I like to go ahead and sew my keepers together because I believe it makes it just that much more sturdier. And as you guys can see, I went ahead and overlapped the leather on that keeper by about a 1/4 inch and then sewed the two pieces together. So now that we have everything all repaired and restored, let's put this back together. So you guys can see I've already put the buckle through the holes there that we punched out. You secure that in, you move your keeper right next to the buckle on the back side there, as far into the crease as possible. Go ahead and fold your back strap over. And now it's coming time to where we put the rivets in to finish this project. So let's go over these rivets and how they work. Now a lot of you guys, if you're just getting started out in your leather crafting and whatnot, you're probably going to buy a variety pack, and if not, you should. Buy a variety pack of rivets because you'll have different thicknesses of leather on your projects. You'll have different projects that require different things, so it's just nice to have different options on hand, so that way you don't have to let your customer wait a few weeks while you order, you know, odds and ends. So the quick nitty-gritty on how a rivet works is, you guys can see there's a post and a cap, and that is one complete rivet. And how this works is you put the cap on top of the post. So we have the post in this hand. We'll take the cap, put it right on top of the post till it makes a clicking noise, and there it is right there. So at that point, after you put that through your project and you put your cap on the top of it, what you do is you have these tools here, which they're called rivet setters, and you'll notice on your anvil, one side of it is flat and on the other side it's concave, so you can set these either way. What I like to do is set it on the flat side like so, put the rivet through your project, you set the rivet on top of there, and then you have this setter. Now the same thing on here, one side is flat, one side is concave. You're going to want to take the concave side, put it on top of the cap of the rivet. And at that point, you take yourself a bashing device and you give it a solid whack down. What that's going to do is it's going to drive this cap down on the post, and the metal that is on the post is going to kind of flare open, and that's what's going to hold these two pieces of metal together. So now that we know the basics on how a rivet is held into place and how they work, let's take these two apart. And they'll come back apart because you guys saw I didn't set it, so they just come right back apart with a little bit of force. So now it comes time to decide which one of these three posts we're going to use for this project. Now you guys can probably tell here by the camera, we're definitely not going to use this one. This is for your smaller, finer projects, plus the diameter on this one is a lot smaller than these two here. So we'll go ahead and take that one and slide him out of the way. So now it comes time to decide the height on the rivets that we're going to use for this project. And a good way to tell if the post is going to be high enough for your project is just to try them out. So let's go ahead, flip our project over, and let's try out this small guy here. So we'll just go ahead and put it through the hole in our leather, match it up through the other side, and flip the project over on a nice flat surface. So that way we can kind of press down on either side of the leather to see how far that post is going to stick up. Now, I'm not sure if the camera's really picking it up, so I'll kind of try to hold it over here at an angle to show you how that post is just barely sticking up out of the leather. If you guys see that, that's going to be a good indicator that this post right here is too small for your project. If you were to go ahead and say, oh, well, that's good enough, you take your cap. Oh, let's see if I can get this lined up here. So we have the cap snapped on there. You guys can see that just by snapping that cap on there without even setting it has really squashed these two pieces of leather together, and it's only gonna get worse whenever we set it. So if you see something like that and you guys have another option with going with a larger size post, go ahead and do that, because if you set, like I said, you set this in now, it's going to really bury this top rivet into your project and it could ruin it. So we'll go ahead and remove this cap, take that off, push the post out here, and now we'll go ahead with this longer one and I'll show you what it looks like. There you go. Now you guys can see we have the post. It's sticking out very good out the top of the project, and that's pretty much going to tell you guys how much of this top post is going to flare out and hold into the cap. So that's why it's good to have quite a bit sticking out there. We'll go ahead and put the cap down on there. You guys heard the snap. And now if I push up on the base of this rivet, you guys can see the rivet sits up off of your project by about a 1/4 inch, maybe a little less. And that's good, because when you go to set this down, it's going to bring it down flush with your project, and it's going to leave enough of the post that will flare out and hold it together. So that's it, guys. I'll put one more over here. Go ahead and get it into place. You guys can see I went with the larger. Push it through your project. Grab our other cap. Just kind of roughly hold it up next to that one. That's what I like to do, just to make sure that I grab the right cap. And it looks about the same, so we'll go ahead and click that down on there. So as you guys can see, the rivets are put in. That's what it's going to look like on the back. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and set these. So what I like to do is, like I said before, take the flat side of the anvil. See, this is the flat. That's kind of the concaved. Take the flat, put it down. Make sure that the flat part of the anvil is completely underneath your rivet. We'll take our setter and we'll look for the concave side on this one. It's right there. Put that on top of the rivet like so, and kind of put some downward pressure on it. And then you'll take your bashing implement here and give it a good whack down, and what that's going to do is going to go ahead and set those. I don't usually set rivets here on the crafting table here because I don't want to break the table. A good idea is to put like a cutting board down on the floor in your home and go ahead and set them down on the floor. So I'm going to go ahead and set these in, and I'll get right back with you. Alrighty folks, so we are all done. I went ahead and set these rivets, as you guys can see. Even with them being, you know, quite high up whenever we installed them, they came down really nice and set into our project. Now, you guys could probably only imagine how much more that would have squished down if I would have used those smaller posts. It really would have buried these rivets into the project. So that's why it's pretty important to choose out the right post for your rivets and set them in correctly, so that way you'll have the as much post flared out inside of here as possible. But there is a limit. So if I would have put this together and the post would have been sitting up about an inch from the project, that's going to be way too much. But you know, a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch off of your project is okay. And you guys can see that, like I said, sunk in pretty well there. Hopefully the camera's picking that up. So this is completely done. So now you just run it through here. Put the strap through there, and it's all done. Should probably show you guys the repair job that was done. The main reason was because of right here. You guys can see there's still a little bit of imperfection there where the two pieces didn't meet. But that's going to be on the inside close to his wrist, so you're really not going to see that. But that other piece of leather that we sewed on the back there is definitely going to hold good for a long time, and he's going to easily get another 3 to 5 years out of this, and even longer if he were to put the oil to it and kind of do a general maintenance. And that's something that's really important. If you guys have leather accessories that you really like, they mean a lot to you, they can last you forever, but you just need to take care of them. So every now and again I would wipe it down with some warm water. If there's like some sticky stuff on there, you can use some soap, and then just go ahead and recoat the whole thing in neat's foot oil. And if you do like a general maintenance like that, you won't have to stick it back in the oven or do anything like that. So hopefully this has given you guys some ideas to keep your leather projects so we don't become a throwaway society. Always fix and repair, and just to help out, you know, your stuff from not breaking, go ahead and do general maintenance on it. So clean it up, put the oil to it, and take care of it, and it will last you for a lifetime. So if you guys have any leather crafting projects that you want to see done, always leave those in the comments below. If you guys have any leather goods that need to be restored or repaired, please send me a private message, and I'll get right back to you guys, and I'll try to help you out. So thank you guys for tuning in again, and take care. Alrighty, hopefully you guys got some new tips and crafting ideas. As always, like, subscribe, and if you thought this video was helpful, please share it across your social media. Take care and spend time with that family.